Spring is on its way, but we're not quite there yet, and you're itching to get your seeds sown. But there's a few things you need to take into consideration before you do that. So now is a really good time, instead of getting overexcited and getting those seeds in, do some preparation. Have you got the equipment that you're going to need? Now's a good time to go through all your pots and trays, see what you've got and see what you might need. And if you haven't got what you need, you could have a trip out to the garden centre, or if you're on an allotment plot, sometimes people are giving things away, or you could look on Free Cycle Marketplace, that sort of thing. Equally, you could be saving up to use things you've already got. So down here, I've got this box of toilet tubes, and they're really good. You can put them all together in a tray, put a bit of compost in, and you can sow your seeds into those, and then you just put the whole thing into the ground. So start planning and thinking about what you've got and what you might need. Other equipment that you may or may not have would be things like propagators and cloches. And the next thing to think about is, how are you going to start those seeds off? So if you're like me and you don't use any artificial heat or light, you might want to sit tight and wait for that warmer weather to arrive. If you are going to start things off indoors, on windowsills and the like, or if you're going to start using things like grow lights and heat, there's no point starting those seeds off if you haven't got anywhere for them to go. So if your garden currently looks like this, there's not really a lot of point in sowing your seeds if you know those conditions are going to last. So plan ahead. Think about how long it's going to take those seeds to germinate, at what point you're going to be potting them on, and therefore at what point you're going to have a plant that needs to go somewhere. So if you're not going to have anywhere to put that plant, there's absolutely no point in starting your seeds now. Sowing seeds too early, although it's really exciting and we enjoy doing it, what you often can end up with is a whole load of really leggy, weak seedlings that actually you would have had better seedlings and plants if you'd sat tight and waited for the weather to be better. So think about where they're going to end up and work back from there. So if you're not sure about what seeds to sow and when, it's very easy sometimes to get carried away with what everybody else is doing. And you know, I used to do that many years ago, and in fact what's far better is to do a little bit of research. Yes, if somebody's your plot neighbour, have a little chat with them, you know, and or by all means, yes, sow and grow what they're growing, because if you're in the same growing space, the likelihood is that your plants are going to do well also. But you don't know what growing conditions they've got, you don't know what kind of equipment they've got, so try and be brave and stick to your own plan. And with most seed packets, if you have a little look on the back, it will tell you when you should be sowing and when you'll be harvesting, so you can plan from that seed packet. If you happen to have bought some seeds that don't have it on, so you may have a seed packet that's more like this. The internet's a fantastic thing, isn't it? So you can always hop on, have a little Google, or you might be like me, a bit more old-fashioned, and you've got a whole array of books that you can sit and go through. So you can research what seeds should be sown when. And don't be fooled by things like carrots or peas and lots of other vegetables. They do have different varieties, and those different varieties are better grown at different times. So do a little bit of research. If you want early peas, choose a variety that is good for sowing and growing early. If you want to be harvesting later in the season, you want those varieties that you start a bit later. So do a bit of research, read your seed packets, read your books, go online, ask your plot neighbours, ask your growing friends. Storing your seeds. So I'm really lucky because I'm in and out of this shed quite regularly, and also I have got an old metal filing cabinet in the shed, and I know that it keeps my seeds nice and safe. But don't make that mistake of storing your seed packets in a place that might be got at and nibbled by things like mice. So if you're not sure, it's probably better to store your seeds at home. And have a really good seed storing system that works for you. So when I organise my seeds, I have them grouped into brassicas, root vegetables and so on. So I have a little box for each one. And then at the beginning of each month, I pop the seeds I'm going to be sowing for that month into this tin. So when I open up this tin, it's only got the seeds I'm going to be growing in the next month or two. Everything else is stored away. And there's a whole variety of ways of doing that. Now, some people are super organised. At the beginning of the year, you might actually already have organised your January seeds, your February seeds, and so on. And a tip that I would give you is, don't get too hung up. If you've decided to grow seeds in January, which I have, now we're well past that now. So some of the seeds I chose to grow in January this year, we've had some real plummeting temperatures here, which we don't always get here in the UK. But because we have, I'm simply going to hold off and sow those seeds in February or even in March. So have your seeds that you plan to grow in a tin such as mine or whatever container you've got, and what you don't sow that month, take the ones out that you've sown, store them, and then you can put in anything you haven't sown into the next month. Sow seeds to grow that you're going to enjoy. If you're growing vegetables, that you're going to enjoy eating. And if you're growing flowers, think about why you want to grow them. Do you want to just enjoy seeing them in the garden? Are you going to have them on pots? Or do you want cut flowers? So think about the varieties that you're growing and grow the things that you enjoy. Grow the things you're going to enjoy eating and grow the flowers that you're going to enjoy seeing. And of course, don't forget about companion planting, which is a whole nother video. So think about things like nasturtium, calendula. There's a whole load of varieties of flowers that you can use as companion planting to assist in your vegetable growing, because it attracts the pests over to them, so they're less likely to want to chomp away or destroy your vegetable plants. But above all, the most important tip I can give you is to have fun and enjoy yourself.